there is a question of what does it mean for God to be a sovereign God? Dictionary definition of sovereignty. Definition number 1, supreme power or authority. Definition number 2, the authority of a state to govern itself or another state. Definition number 3, a self-governing state. So God being a sovereign God does not necessarily mean that God controls everything, because that's not necessarily what sovereignty means. Are we predestined to just do whatever God wants? And if not, do we have free will? And if we don't have free will, how can we choose God? These are questions, very confusing questions. These are questions I probably will not be able to give you a satisfying answer to, unfortunately. However, I do have thoughts on these very questions, so I figured I would talk to you about them and maybe start a conversation, as I love to do.
The way he put it was like, there has to be some point where it's not according to God's plan, because God doesn't put out your clothes for you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I think also jumping back to something you said, where two people have to be together for God's plan to continue. God's not reliant though on us as people, so saying that he needs us to do something in order for his plan to work, I wouldn't say is quite accurate, because that means that he has to rely on us, and like you're saying, we have free will. We can choose to mess up that plan anytime we choose to, and which has been done before, but God always has had a way to remedy that and fix that, and make sure that his holy and perfect will and his plan is always executed, in which it always will be. And so we have the opportunity to be vessels for him and to be used in that plan. And if we choose to, he'll use us. But we can also choose to not. And I would say that's fine, because it's not fine.
I think there's times when there's things that are more important that they happen than other things. For example, the birth of Jesus, right? I think that that kind of had to happen. I don't know that it had to happen in the way that it did necessarily, but it seems like that's something that had to happen. Now, who you're gonna marry, that very well could be important, that happens exactly in the proper way. It could also not matter in the slightest to the grand scheme of things, which I am sorry to say, because it's I like to believe that it matters who each and every one of us marry, and God really cares about that, and there's a certain person that we're just meant to be with. But no, I don't think so. I think some people that might be important. I think other people it might not. I just don't know on that one. The point that I've been wanting to talk about here is there is this there's this idea, which is kind of the idea I subscribe to, and well, the way I'm gonna talk about this, if you'll bear with me for a second, is we're gonna talk about Bob Ross. Well, look at him. That's Bob Ross over there. Woo, that's some hair. Cool hair, Bob. Anyway, Bob Ross's most famous thing he said, probably, is that he doesn't believe in mistakes, just happy little accidents. Okay, and this is something that I think most people know about Bob Ross. That's something, before I ever watched a Bob Ross video, I knew that Bob Ross said. What he means by this is, when it comes to art, right, you can, if you make a mistake, you do a little mess up, right? It's not that that's actually a mess up, it's that is an accident, and now you figure out how to work that into your art, you know? So, anyway, that's kind of a cool thing. That's what I'm trying to say about that. But also, there's a more biblical side of this that I want to talk about. And this is something that C.S. Lewis talks about in The Silver Chair, where Aslan tells the kids exactly where to go and the path to follow to get there, but due to the kids' mistakes, you know, they end up taking a different route, and at the end of the day, Aslan ends up leading them back to the right route, and it ends up working out for the good of all at the end. I think that in a lot of ways that is how God works. That, you know, if we listen to God, He's gonna show us the straightest, the best path that we can go down. However, I think if we mess up, God will turn around and use that for His good. Yeah, no, I think that's how this works. Yeah, thank you for watching. There's another video, and you know, live long and prosper.